have a little bit of a bonus video here. And what this is going to be, because Hellboy is my favorite comic, super excited about this game, and I can't get enough of it, and I haven't even started playing it yet. I hope it holds up. But I thought we'd do a comparison of the current miniatures, as amazing as they are, and the last time I bought miniatures, which I am a grognard. I am very used to old school gaming. I did not think new gaming could be worth a shit until I started doing cons and realized that new games are amazing and that I needed to learn more about them. So that's kind of what this is. But back in 2002, when I was buying comics through my local comic shop and previews regularly, Steve Jackson Games released the Hellboy miniatures. There was a Hellboy Villains, and yes, directly below this with some really old poster tack is Hellboy Heroes. These came in a... Oops, as I make a giant mess here. It came in conjunction with the sourcebook and role-playing game, which I have somewhere and have to find because it was super fun. Even though I never really got to play it, I just read it and wished I had people to play it with, because this was kind of past the era of having people in a gaming group to play with. So each of these came with 5 miniatures. They came in an old school VHS case, which, if you follow us on Kickstarter, is very similar to the case that we are releasing our card game creature features in. And if I recall correctly, when they came in, this was literally just a piece of like saran wrapped to the outside of it, and that's why it's got print on the inside. So there's 6 hero miniatures and 5 villain miniatures. And I don't want to know what I paid for these back in the day. I remember getting them and thinking they were the best things ever. So let's now take these new ones and see how they compare. And as an added bonus, you'll get to see the last time I tried painting a miniature and know now why I am so nervous about this next batch of miniatures that I'm going to be working on, because I am not very good. So these were sculpted by, I think they're both sculpted by Richard Kerr. The villains include Rasputin, Baba Yaga, Krieghoff, a frogman, and an ancient Nazi mystic, which is basically just also Rasputin. I don't have a comparable on the ancient Nazi mystic, so we'll just throw him in here. First off, he has a sweet little Lovecraftian tool of some sort here that I've never put in his hand, but it's sort of tentacled. And yes, these are miniatures made out of metal. I don't have a clue what they were at the time. I know back in the day I used to get actual lead, but I think these are probably pewter or some sort of hybrid. I'm not sure. It doesn't say anywhere. Well, actually, maybe it does on the bottom of this. Nope, it just has the category and like a cool, I don't know, stamp or just dead pewter. I don't know. So this is the Nazi Mystic. Nazi Mystic. He's so shiny. You can see where he's supposed to hold his stick. He also could be a dirty park flasher, depending on the angle you happen to shoot him at. Whoa, look at that tie. So he doesn't really have a comparable. It's super weird to me that of all the world, even that existed in 2002, generic Nazi mystic was high on their list instead of a Nazi soldier or something. Let's move on to Rasputin himself. So for reference, if you haven't watched my last video, Rasputin in this one, he has 2 different ones. You've got mid casting Rasputin, super epic looking. He's got his sweet gloves. He looks awesome. Good detail. And then there's simple Rasputin, if I can figure out where he is. So there's Rasputin. He was hiding behind a dragon. Would be why I couldn't find him. He looks great. I love the fold in his robes. It's vaguely stylized. It's super Awesome. He just triumphed over the Nazis and is wandering the Swiss hills, talking about how the hills are alive with the sound of Lovecraftian Yarhartip. The metal version of him, a little more chill. He's really super into this new recipe he found for smoking barbecue ribs. He would really prefer it if you didn't call his robe a bathrobe. He's got a flower on his chest. I can't really tell. They're pretty comparable in their own ways. I have to say that one of them seems to be having a much better day. And I do think it's interesting that the old ones are done with that kind of old school exaggerated style where their heads are bigger, the scale's a little interesting. But, there they are. Baba Yaga, probably the biggest difference amongst the villain ones. So, refresher. New Baba Yaga. Kinda bitchin' for an old lady in a pestle. Pestle? Kinda bitchin'. Oh my. I mean, they're both equally droopy. But this one, well, let's just say seems a little less dynamic, perhaps. She's intense. Don't get me wrong. There's no question about that. But, not necessarily on the same level. I love it personally, but yeah. Krieghoff, first of all, he has hands that did not come connected, and they are still not connected. This is how finished I got on these guys. That hand looks a little mangled, frankly. That one's the right hand, as you can see from the R on it. This is Krieghoff, and you know what's funny? Pretty similar. Look at the booty on him, though. Booty, 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 booty. I have to say, new Krieghoff, slightly larger, maybe a little less nervous looking. I find the old one incredibly charming. Like, he looks like a dude in a suit with Harryhausen animation on the close-ups of his face, where he's like, oh, golly, not again. Other than that, though, they could be, yeah. Oh, sorry. So that was Krieghoff. They also have a frog monster. Is that what they called it? Frogman. I'm going to try and find the Frogman that most closely approximates this one. I think that's going to be this Frogman, who is really getting left hanging for that high five. And Old Frogman, who, I've got to be honest, kind of actually fits the Mignola art a little better. But they both look pretty good. I actually like the fin along its back a little better, and its super lanky arms and weird legs. In a way, I kind of prefer it in some capacity, but they look like they get along pretty well. They're like, hey, let's go out and get some sweet lily pad gin or something like that. But yeah, they are what they are. Honestly, Old Frogman, Fat American Godzilla Frogman. Yep. Okay, we're on to the heroes. I hope people will find this entertaining as I do, because I'm having more fun than I probably should, considering. Alright, so next up, we've got the heroes. Hellboy and the BPRD. This set includes Lobster Johnson, Abe Sapien, Roger the Homunculus, Johann Kraus, and Liz Sherman. So let's start out with Roger the Homunculus, who is, unlike the last time I was trying to find a character, easier to find. Pa-pow! Naked except for a ring. Not gonna say what kind of ring. I just dropped him. There's his butt. Roger's butt. Roger's pretty cool. He's not the most dynamic pose of them, but he still looks good. But you know what? Compared to this Roger, oh, Roger. Oh, they took away your vest. You still got your cool Life Spark chest piece. You got the booty. Booty, 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 booty. Yep. Who wore it best? You make the call. That's not my determination here. Doesn't want to focus, though. Come on, focus. Focus on the booty. No, it's not going to. This is good to YouTube, y'all. So, yeah, there they are. Pow. Next up, Abe Sapien. The previous Abe Sapien, or sorry, the new Abe Sapien. Pretty dynamic. He's got a sweet spear. He's got a pointy shooty. He's rather slim. Looks good. Old Abe Sapien. Hello. Would you like to talk to me about... well, I'm not really sure. I think he's just out of the water, hasn't quite learned how to walk yet. I think it's interesting how far up his calves and or inner knee his fins go. Like, that would be really hard to bend that leg. I'm just going to say that right now. He's also mostly naked. He is wearing pants, however. He's got modesty. He looks a little bemused by it all. Possibly has a mustache. No, maybe not. He's chiseled in some ways. And here comes other Abe. Hi, I'm other Abe. How are you? We both shoot with the same hand, but I have a spear. Ugh. Oh my god, I don't know what's wrong with me. Then we've got Johann Kraus, who is right here. He looks amazing. I love the current figure. I think he's excellent. I think he's one of my favorite poses. I think he looks really cool. This Johann really wants you to buy his lemonade. Hello. I would like you to buy my lemonade so that we can go to the museum on a school trip. And he's like, no. 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 Okay. Lobster Johnson made an appearance on this, and I don't think it names him, strangely. Oh, it does. Okay. He's an ally, apparently, according to this. Also, similar pose. Once again, Lobster Johnson stopping in the name of the claw. And Lobster Johnson has a little bit of a bad hip. No claw, which I think is interesting. It probably caused me nonstop frustration as a well, I was an adult when I got these, let's be fair here. But I was an awful painter. Awful, as you will see soon when Hellboy comes along and you see how much detail and work I put into making Hellboy look amazing back in 2002. But first, Liz Sherman. So, to remind everybody, this is Liz Sherman in the new model. Fairly busty, super flaming, tight pants. I don't know, weirdly bombshell. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Doesn't feel like Liz. The sad part is that the other Liz totally kind of does feel like Liz, and she's a little clunky. Hi, I'm Liz Sherman. I'm also a newspaper reporter in Fallout 4, if you have a really bad graphics card. She's got a cigar, it appears. Cigar and a Derringer of some sort. She also really wants to tell you about her ash can newsletter that she puts out every month about recycling. So, yeah, there's some striking differences between Liz and Liz in the games, I have to say. Yep, there you go. Alright, last stop, Hellboy. To remind everyone, Hellboy, pretty amazing, ripped, loaded with cool stuff, gun, punchy. I will say that the other one has almost all of this going for him. He even has the hooves. He has a tail. The pewter tail goes the other direction. So, back when I was initially painting, the paint I used of choice, because we didn't have a hobby game shop in town, was the testors, which were these little glass bottles of enamel paint they used for like car models. They were glossy, they were shiny, they were a bitch, and I used toothpicks to paint them. I didn't have a small brush. This feels like I walked uphill both ways on the way to school. I wasn't bad back then, but I took a lot of time to do it. Then in 2002, when I got this set, I picked up some new paints from the hobby store that was also a craft store at the time, and I made the mistake of buying cheap hobby craft paint. So this Hellboy, not only is he not completed, but he is a chalky, horrible mess. So just as a heads up, Hellboy. Also Hellboy. Also a current example of my painting ability, which is why, in the next few videos, as I slowly learn how to paint, they should be interesting, because this is Hellboy. This is Hellboy. My favorite thing about this Hellboy, however, is the fact that I never painted his pants, so he looks like he's wearing like these super sweet silver lame hot pants. Like he is just... he's out there, he's ready to party, he's brought his gun that shoots vodka, jello shooters, he's got his half-painted jacket. I don't know what I was doing here, but it's amazing, and I kind of just want to leave it like this, but I also want to redo it, but luckily I have these bitchin'-ass Hellboys to keep him company in the meantime. So, those were the Steve Jackson Hellboy miniatures from 2002 for the Hellboy role-playing game, and the current Hellboy board game miniatures. I hope you enjoyed this video. I clearly had a little too much fun with it. We'll see you next time on the Reformed Grognard.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.